friends, welcome to Maths Companion. I am Ramesh. In the last video, we have discussed the relation between sum and terms of an arithmetic sequence. We have learned the sum of any three consecutive terms of an arithmetic sequence is 3 times the middle term. And we have seen in any three consecutive terms of an arithmetic sequence, the middle term is half the sum of the first and last. We have also seen if n is an odd number, then the sum of n consecutive terms of an arithmetic sequence is n times the middle term, or middle term equal to sum of the terms by number of terms. And lastly, we have seen in an arithmetic sequence, if the sums of positions of two pairs of terms are equal, then the sums of pairs of the terms are also equal. And we have some homeworks. Let us check the answers. The first problem, the sum of the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence is 150 and the sum of the first 10 terms is 550. What is the third term of the sequence? What is the 8th term? What are the first 3 terms of the sequence? Given that sum of first 5 terms is 150. When we take 5 terms, which is the middle term, the third term, right? So the third term equal to sum of the terms divided by number of terms, that is 150 by 5 or 30. So we got the third term as 30. Now given that sum of the first 10 terms is 550. If there are 10 terms, we can make 5 pairs. And sum of each pair will be equal to 550 by 5 or 110. That is, first term plus 10th term is 110. Second term plus 9th term is 110. Third term plus 8th term is 110. Why do I take third term plus 8th term? Because we have got third term and we have to find 8th term. Now we know third term is 30. Therefore 8th term equal to 110 minus 30 or 80. Now we need to find the first 3 terms of the arithmetic sequence. For that it is enough to find the common difference. We have got 2 terms. The third term equal to 30 and 8th term equal to 80. And we know the common difference is equal to term difference by position difference. That is 8th term minus 3rd term by 8 minus 3. Or that is equal to 80 minus 30 by 5 or 50 by 5 or that is equal to 10. So the common difference is 10 and we know third term is 30, then second term is 20 and first term is 10. So the first 3 terms are 10, 20, 30. Now the second problem, the angles of a pentagon are in arithmetic sequence. Prove that its smallest angle is greater than 36 degrees. We know the sum of the angles of a polygon is n minus 2 into 180 degree, where n is the number of sides or number of angles. Here the number of sides is 5. Therefore, sum of the angles of a pentagon is 5 minus 2 into 180 or that is equal to 3 into 180 or that is equal to 540 degree. Now when there are 5 terms, which is the middle term, third term, right? Therefore, third term equal to 540 divided by 5 or 108 degree. That is the third term or the third angle is 108 degree. Now first term plus fifth term is equal to second term plus fourth term and that is equal to third term plus third term. Therefore first term plus fifth term is equal to third term plus third term, that is 108 plus 108, that is equal to 260. Now suppose the first term is 36, then what is the fifth term? 216 minus 36 or 180. Now what happens when the fifth angle is 180 degree? Now the angle is less than 180, it increases, now it is more than 180. Now the angle between the two lines is 180. Then the two lines join together to form a line. So when one angle of a pentagon is 180 degree, the two sides join together to form a new line. How can it be possible? It's not possible. Therefore, each angle of a pentagon should be less than 180 degree. If the first angle is 36 degree, then fifth angle is 180 degree. If the first angle is more than 36 degree, then the fifth angle is less than 180 degree. So the first angle should be more than 36 degree. In the 1780s, a German schoolmaster gave his class the tedious assignment of summing the first 100 natural numbers. That is to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to 100. But one young boy almost immediately gave the correct answer as 5050. He was none other than Carl Friedrich Gauss, who later known as the Prince of Mathematics. Would you like to know how Gauss found the answer? Today, we are going to learn how to find the sum of arithmetic sequences, in which we will learn how Gauss found his answer. Look at this picture. How many dots are there in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 dots in each row. How many rows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 rows. So the total number of dots in this picture is 10 into 11 or 110, right? Now let us look at another picture. How many dots are there in this triangular arrangement? In the first row, there is only one dot. In the second row, there are 2 dots. In the third row, there are 3 dots. And in the 10th row or in the last row, there are 10 dots. So we can add it together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus up to 10. And adding together, we will get 55. Suppose there are 100 rows. So in the first row, there will be 1 dot, and in the last row, there will be 100 dots. Of course, you can add it like this, but it will take a lot of time. Is there any other easier way? Let us see. Let us take another triangular arrangement like this and turn it upside down and join with the first like this. Now it is a rectangular arrangement, and as we have seen earlier, the total number of dots is 10 into 11, as there are 11 dots in each row and there are 10 rows. So the total number of dots is 110, and the number of dots in this red triangular arrangement is only half of it, that is 55. Now let us do what we have done now using numbers. The sum is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to 10. Now let us write it in reverse. 10 plus 9 plus up to 1. Now let us add it together. The sum is 11, this is also 11, this is also 11, the last is also 11. And adding, we will get 2 times the sum. How many 11s are there? There are 10 terms, and corresponding to each term, there is a sum. So altogether there are 10 11s. So 2 times sum equal to 10 into 11, or sum equal to 10 into 11 by 2. That's equal to 55. Suppose we have to find the sum of natural numbers from 1 to 100. How can we do it? Let us write the sum as 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to 100. Now write it in reverse. 100 plus 99 plus up to 1. Now let us add it together. This is 101, this is also 101, this is also 101, and this is also 101. So we will get 2 times sum, 101 plus 101 plus 101 plus etc. How many 101s are there? There are 100 terms, and corresponding to each term there is a sum. So altogether there are 100 101s. So 2 times sum equal to 100 into 101. So sum is equal to 100 into 101 by 2, or that is equal to 5050. This is the idea which Carl Friedrich Gauss used when he was a small boy. Now let us generalize and let us find the sum of first n natural numbers. First 10 natural numbers means starting from 1 to 10. First 100 natural numbers means starting from 1 to 100. First n natural numbers means starting from 1 to n. So we can write it as 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to n. And the number before 10 is 9, 1 less than that. Just like that, the number before n is n minus 1, 1 less than n. And before that n minus 2, 1 less than n minus 1. Now let us write it in reverse. N plus n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus etc. plus 1. Now let us add it together. 1 plus n is n plus 1. Now 2 plus n minus 1. 2 plus minus 1 is plus 1. So we get n plus 1. Now 3 plus minus 2 is 1. So again we get 1. And lastly we get n plus 1. So we can write it as 2 times sum is n plus 1 plus n plus 1 plus n plus 1 etc. How many n plus 1s are there? There are n terms. And corresponding to each term there is a sum. So altogether there are n plus 1s. So 2 times sum is equal to n into n plus 1, or sum is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. That is, sum of first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. Or we can say the sum of any number of consecutive natural numbers starting with 1 is half the product of the last number and the next natural number. Or 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to n is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. When we take first n natural numbers, n is the last number and the number of numbers is also n. When we take first 10 natural numbers, there are 10 numbers and 10 is the last number because we are taking all the numbers up to 10. So here we can understand the last number into next number by 2, or number of numbers into next number by 2. Now using this idea we can find the sum of even numbers. Let me take first 50 even numbers, that is 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus up to 100. Now 2 is a common factor. Taking 2 outside we can write 2 is 2 into 1, 4 is 2 into 2, 6 is 2 into 3 and lastly 100 is 2 into 50. This is sum of first 50 natural numbers. And we know it is 50 into 51 by 2. So we can write it as 2 into 50 into 51 by 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled and 50 into 51. And that is equal to 2550. Now let us generalize. Let us take first n even numbers, or sum of first n even numbers. Which is the nth even number? First even number is 2 or 2 into 1. Second even number is 4 or 2 into 2. Third even number is 6 or 2 into 3. So which is the nth even number? 2 into n or 2n. So we can write 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus up to 2n. Now every even number is a multiple of 2. So taking 2 outside we can write 2 into 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to n. Now this is sum of first n natural numbers and we know it is n into n plus 1 by 2. So we can write it as 2 into n into n plus 1 by 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled and we get n into n plus 1. That is, sum of first n even numbers is n into n plus 1. Remember one thing, that when we take first n even numbers, n is not the last number or last term, because we are taking only even numbers. In between there are odd numbers. Here n is the number of terms. So we can say sum of first n even numbers is n into n plus 1, that is number of terms, plus 1 more than that. Now using this we can find the sum of odd numbers also. Let me take first 50 odd numbers, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus up to 99. Now each odd number is 1 less than an even number. 1 can be written as 2 minus 1, 3 can be written as 4 minus 1, 5 can be written as 6 minus 1, 99 can be written as 100 minus 1. Now let me take all the even numbers 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus up to 100 and minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, etc. minus 1. Now how many minus 1s are there? There are 50 terms and in each term there is a minus 1. So the number of minus 1s is 50. Now this is sum of first 50 even numbers. We know that is 50 into 51. And what is minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 50 times? Minus 1 means minus 2. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 means minus 3. So minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 extra 50 times means minus 50. So this is 50 into 51 minus 50. Now what does it mean? 51 times 50 minus 150. When you take 150 from 51 50s, there will remain only 50 50s. So we can write it as 50 50 or 50 into 50. That is 50 square or 2500. Now let us generalize. Let us take first n odd numbers. We know each odd number is 1 less than an even number. First even number is 2 and 1 is 1 less than 2. Second even number is 4 and 3 is 1 less than 4. And nth even number is 2n. 1 less than, that is 2n minus 1. So 2n minus 1 is the nth odd number. Now as we have done earlier, 1 can be written as 2 minus 1, 3 can be written as 4 minus 1, 5 can be written as 6 minus 1, and lastly 2n minus 1. Take all the even numbers together, 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus up to 2n. Then minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. How many minus 1s are there? There are n terms and there is a minus 1 in each term. So the number of minus 1s is n. Now this is sum of n even numbers. We know that is n into n plus 1. And minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 n times is minus n. Now let us multiply. N into n is n square. N into 1 is n. So we can write n square plus n minus this n. N minus n is 0. So we get n square. That is sum of first n odd numbers is n square. Let us check. When you take one odd number, the sum is 1 itself. That is 1 square. When you take two odd numbers, 1 plus 3. That is 4 or 2 square. When you take 3 odd numbers, that is 1 plus 3 plus 5. That is 3 square or 9. So we can say the sum of consecutive odd numbers starting from 1 is the square of the number of odd numbers added. Or we can say sum of first n odd numbers is n square. Remember once again, here the number of odd numbers is n. N is not the last term. When we take 10 odd numbers, the 10th odd number is 19. It is 1 less than 10th even number. Because we know in between there are even numbers also. So we have seen that sum of n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2, where you can take n as the last number or number of terms. But sum of n even numbers is n into n plus 1, where n is the number of terms. And sum of the first n odd numbers is n square, that is the number of terms is n. Using this idea, we can find sum of terms of any arithmetic sequence. Natural numbers, even numbers, odd numbers, all these are particular type of arithmetic sequences. Let us find the sum of first n terms of an arithmetic sequence. We can take the first term as f, and we know the second term is first term plus common difference, or f plus d. Third term is first term plus 2 times common difference, or f plus 2d. And nth term is first term plus n minus 1 times common difference, or f plus n minus 1d. As we have done earlier, let us take all the f's together, f plus f plus f plus etc. f. How many f's are there? There are n terms and there is an f in each term. So the number of f's is n. Now what remains? D plus 2d plus 3d plus up to n minus 1 into d. So d is common. Taking d outside, we can write 1 plus, this is 1d. 2 plus, this is 2d. Next 3d, we can write 3. Then lastly n minus 1. Now when you add f n times, we get n into f or nf. Now d is taken outside. This is sum of n minus 1 natural numbers. Sum of n minus 1 natural numbers is n minus 1 into next number, that is n by 2. Now let us multiply this nf by 2. And we can write 2nf plus d into n minus 1 into n all divided by 2. Now look at the numerator, 2nf d into n minus 1 into n. N is common in both the terms. So let us take n outside and the denominator outside. That is n by 2 outside. What remains now? We have taken n outside. So 2f is there plus d into n minus 1 or n minus 1 into d. Now 2f can be written as f plus f. So it can be written as n by 2 into f plus n minus 1 into d. Now f is the first term and f plus n minus 1 into d is the nth term. So this can be written as n by 2 into x1 plus xn. That is, sum of n terms of any arithmetic sequence is n by 2 into first term plus last term. Or we can say the sum of any number of consecutive terms of an arithmetic sequence is half the product of the number of terms and the sum of the first and last number. Or sum of n terms of an arithmetic sequence is n by 2 into x1 plus xn. Now let us find sum of n terms of the sequence 1, 5, 9, etc. The first term is 1, nth term is dn plus f minus d. Here d, the common difference is 4. So we can write 4n plus 1 minus 4. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So we can write it as 4n minus 3. Now the sum of n terms equal to n by 2 into x1 plus xn. That is n by 2 into 1 plus 4n minus 3. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. So we can write it as n by 2 into 4n minus 2. 4n is 2 into 2n and 2 is 1 into 2. So we can take 2 outside and we can write n by 2 into 2 into 2n minus 1. 2 and 2 can be simplified. So we get n into 2n minus 1. Multiplying we get 2n square minus n. This is the sum of n terms of this arithmetic sequence. When we give n equal to 1, we get first term, that is 2 into 1 square minus 1, that is 2 minus 1 or 1. When we give n equal to 2, we get sum of two terms of this arithmetic sequence, that is 2 into 2 square minus 2. 2 square is 4, 2 into 2 square is 8, minus 2 is 6. So 6 is the sum of the first two terms. We can see 1 plus 5 is 6. Similarly, when we give n equal to 3, we get the sum of the first three terms of this arithmetic sequence. So in this sum of n terms, there is a term containing n square and there is a term containing n. Now let us find the sum of the first n terms of the arithmetic sequence 2, 8, 14, etc. First term is 2, common difference is 6. So nth term is 6n plus 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. So we can write it as 6n minus 4. Now sum is n by 2 into 2 plus 6n minus 4. 2 minus 4 is minus 2. So it can be written as n by 2 into 6n minus 2. 2 is a common factor, so you can write n by 2 into 2 into 3n minus 1. 2 and 2 get cancelled and we can write n into 3n minus 1, or that is equal to 3n square minus n. When we give different values for n, we get first term, sum of 2 terms, sum of 3 terms, etc. Here also you can see there is a term containing n square and a term containing n. Is it always like this? Let us check. We know sum of n terms is n by 2 into x1 plus xn. x1 means first term f and nth term means f plus n minus 1 into d. So we can write it as n by 2 into f plus n minus 1 into d. And we can simplify it as n by 2 into 2f plus n minus 1 into d. Let us multiply each term by n by 2. So we can write it as 2f into n by 2 plus n minus 1 into d into n by 2. 2 and 2 get cancelled and we can write nf here and d into n by 2 into n, that is d into n square by 2, or we can write d by 2 n square, and this is minus 1 into d into n by 2. We can write minus d n by 2 or d by 2 n. Now let me take the terms containing n together. There is only one term containing n square, d by 2 n square. There are two terms containing n, f, n and minus d by 2 n. Taking n outside, we can write f minus d by 2 n. That is d by 2 n square plus f minus d by 2 into n. There is a term containing n square and there is a term containing n. So we can say the sum of n terms of any arithmetic sequence is of the form an square plus bn, where a and b are fixed numbers. That means there is a term containing n square and there is a term containing n. There cannot be a term containing n cube, n raised to 4, etc. Or there cannot be a term containing 1 by n square, etc. Now, can the sum of n terms of an arithmetic sequence be without n square? Let us check. These terms become 0 when d by 2 is 0. That is when d equal to 0. That is when the common difference is 0, the sum of n terms doesn't contain n square. Let us take a sequence with common difference 0, 2, 2, 2, etc. Here the common difference is 0. First term is 2 and the nth term is also 2. So sum is n by 2 into 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So we can write it as n by 2 into 4. 2 2s are 4. So we get n into 2 or 2n. So this is the sum of n terms of this arithmetic sequence, which has only term containing n. Now, can the sum of n terms be without n? When f minus d by 2 is 0, it may not contain n. That is, f minus d by 2 equal to 0 means f equal to d by 2, or first term equal to half the common difference. When the first term is half the common difference, sum of n terms has only the term containing n square. Let us take an example. Consider the sequence 3, 9, 15, etc. What is the common difference here? 6. That is, the first term is half the common difference. Here we can see first term is 3 and nth term is 6n plus 3 minus 6. That is 6n minus 3. Now sum is n by 2 into first term 3 plus 6n minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we can write it as n by 2 into 6n. 3 2s are 6. So we get n into 3n, or that is equal to 3n square. So here it has only term containing n square. So we can generally say the sum of n terms of an arithmetic sequence is of the form an square plus bn, where a and b are fixed numbers. A can be 0 sometimes, B can also be 0 sometimes. When common difference is 0, A is 0. When first term is half the common difference, B is 0. Now look at this expression once again. Look at the coefficient of n square, that is d by 2, or half the common difference. So we can say the coefficient of n square is half the common difference. Now let us take the sum of the coefficients of n square and n, that is d by 2 plus f minus d by 2. D by 2 minus d by 2 is 0 and we get f. That means sum of the coefficients of n square and n is the first term. So we got three properties now. The sum of first n terms of an arithmetic sequence is of the form an square plus bn, where a and b are fixed numbers. Remember, a can be 0 sometimes, b can be 0 sometimes. Now the coefficient of n square is half the common difference. Sum of the coefficients of n square and n, in this case a plus b, is the first term. Now let us take an example. Sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic sequence is 3n square plus n. Find the sequence. Here sum of n terms is 3n square plus n. We know the coefficient of n square is half the common difference. So 3 is half the common difference. So common difference is 3 into 2 or 6. First term is the sum of the coefficients of n square and n. That is 3 plus 1 or 4. We got the first term, we got the common difference. Now we can easily write the sequence as 4, 10, 16, etc. We can find this in another way also. When we give n equal to 1, we get the first term. So first term is 3 into 1 square plus 1. This is 1, 3 into 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. So first term is 4. Now when you give n equal to 2, we get sum of first two terms. That is x1 plus x2 equal to 3 into 2 square plus 2. 2 square is 4, 3 into 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Now, to find second term, we have to subtract first term from this. Or we can say second term equal to 14 minus 4 or 10. When we give n equal to 3, we get sum of first three terms. That is x1 plus x2 plus x3 equal to 3 into 3 square plus 3. This is 9. 9 into 3 is 27. 27 plus 3 is 30. To get x3, we have to subtract x1 plus x2 from it. That is x3 equal to 30 minus 14 or 16. So we can write the sequence 4, 10, 16, etc. We can do like this also. Now let us have a look on what we have learned today. The sum of first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. Sum of first n even numbers is n into n plus 1. Sum of first n odd numbers is n square. Sum of n terms of an arithmetic sequence is n by 2 into first term plus last term. Then we have discussed the properties of sum of n terms of an arithmetic sequence. The sum of the first n terms of an arithmetic sequence is of the form an square plus bn, where a and b are fixed numbers. The coefficient of n square is half the common difference. Sum of the coefficients of n square and n is the first term. Now there are three home assignments. These are the questions from page number 35. First one, find the sum of the first 25 terms of each of the arithmetic sequences below. Second, what is the difference between the sum of the first 20 terms and the next 20 terms of the arithmetic sequence 6, 10, 14, etc. Calculate the difference between the sums of the first 20 terms of the arithmetic sequences 6, 10, 14 and 15, 19, 23. Here I have explained the concepts behind each equation. Those who don't like it can skip it and directly go to the equations and problems. Practice well. Let me know your suggestions through the comment box. If you like this video, subscribe it and share it. I'll be back with another video. Till then, bye.